Cameron and I had a love story that felt like it was pulled straight from the pages of a Hallmark movie. Our story was special, marked by a decade of friendship before we finally decided to give romance a shot. It was the kind of story where the man harbors a deep, unspoken love for his friend, and though she feels the same, circumstances and timing never align until years later. After 10 years of shared moments, both platonic and romantic, singleness finally brought us together. It was a love that seemed written in the stars, a fairy tale come true. For a year we were inseparable. We shared the same sense of humor, a deep connection, and a love for travel that kept our long-distance relationship exciting. I was based in New York, and he was in Boston, which made our time together all the more precious. There were no red flags, no signs of trouble brewing beneath the surface. Our relationship felt solid, like a well-oiled machine that just worked. Or so I thought. The last time I visited him in Boston was supposed to be just another cherished memory. I had no inkling that it would be the final time we'd share together as a couple. From the moment I arrived, I sensed something was amiss. Cameron's behavior was off. He seemed distant, almost irritated by my presence. It was subtle at first, a slight change in tone, a curt response to a simple question. I couldn't pinpoint what I had done wrong, or if I had done anything at all. The more I tried to connect with him, the more I felt like I was hitting a wall. This was supposed to be our time together, yet he made me feel like an intruder in his own life. The discomfort was palpable, and my attempts to reach out only seemed to worsen the situation. As the weekend progressed, his mood did lift slightly, but my intuition told me something was still wrong. It was an unsettling feeling that gnawed at me as I prepared to leave. The nagging thought that perhaps things were unraveling, but I just couldn't see it clearly, was distressing. When the time came for me to return to New York, I did so with a heavy heart. The long drive back was filled with a mix of sadness and confusion. His behavior had cast a shadow over what should have been a joyous reunion. Little did I know, this shadow was about to deepen into complete darkness. Less than 24 hours after I left Boston, a notification popped up on my phone. It was a text from Cameron. My heart sank as I opened it. The text was a lengthy farewell, filled with words that cut through me like a knife. He wrote that he no longer wanted to be in the relationship, and to add salt to the wound, he was about to board a plane to Africa. The abruptness of it all left me reeling. There were no prior discussions, no attempt to work through our issues. Instead, he chose to end things through a text message and escape to another continent. The hurt was not just in the breakup itself, but in the sheer thoughtlessness of his departure. I had trusted him, believed in the future we were building together, only to be discarded in the coldest manner. It was an emotional punch that left me breathless. How could someone who had shared so many years with me turn around and end everything so cruelly? The days that followed were a whirlwind of confusion and pain. I felt a storm of emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal. I debated whether to respond to his text. Part of me wanted to ignore him completely, to show him the silent treatment that might sting more than words. But another part of me felt that I needed to defend myself, to stand up for the respect I deserved. For a week, I wrestled with my feelings, writing and rewriting a response. I wanted it to be perfect, to encapsulate the depth of my hurt and my sense of betrayal, but also to stand my ground. The decision to respond wasn't just about seeking closure. It was about asserting that his behavior was unacceptable. When I finally sent my reply, it was a mixture of hurt and defiance. I told him that his actions were incredibly disrespectful and that I deserved better. I reminded him of the sacrifices I had made for our relationship, the time, money, and emotional energy I had invested. I let him know that while I understood his struggles, the way he chose to end things was far from fair. I refused to let him walk away without acknowledging the pain he had caused. In the weeks following his departure, I found myself grappling with the emotional wreckage left in his wake. The breakup was a harsh blow, but it also served as a stark revelation of his character. His exit was so dramatic and intense that it forced me to confront the reality of who he was. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but focusing on the intensity of his departure helped me see that I was better off without him. The breakup was not the end. It was a catalyst for growth and self-discovery. Ironically, the timing of the breakup couldn't have been more serendipitous. I had just graduated from college and was on the cusp of entering a new chapter in my life. The end of my relationship with Cameron aligned perfectly with the beginning of my new journey. I was presented with opportunities and choices that would shape my future. For the first time, I was free to make decisions solely for myself, without the constraints of a relationship. It wasn't long before I began to heal. The process was neither quick nor easy, but it was transformative. I realized that Cameron's departure, as devastating as it was, had opened a door to personal growth and self-empowerment. I focused on the opportunities before me, the exciting new possibilities that lay ahead. The pain of the breakup gradually gave way to a sense of liberation. About a month after Cameron left, I received another text from him. This time, he was reaching out to tell me that he missed me. It was a simple message, but it carried an undertone of regret. I had moved on by then, and his sudden reappearance didn't shake me. I responded with a line that captured my newfound strength. "I get it. I'd miss me too."